Welcome. It's time to take a look at AMD's latest earnings report. They reported earlier this week, and it was in a great earnings if you analyze the earnings through the perspective of what Wall Street was expecting and what the result was, with, for example, revenues of $7.4 billion. We will go through the different segments of the company and analyze the current situation, both short term and long term, and yeah, it will be very interesting to give you this dive into the earnings report. We will learn whether or not AMD is in a great position, and hopefully that will bring you some insights in whether or not you want to invest in the company. I can tell you before we start to really dive in here that I have a position in AMD. I believe in this company long term. But if you invest, you should just always do your own due diligence, etc. That's the way it goes. Anyway, let's continue over to their earnings presentation. Yeah. Okay. So here we have the earnings of AMD. We start in the presentation. They are on a journey. They say this is our journey, a leadership product portfolio, expanding customer and partner ecosystem, data center and AI growth, strong financial foundation. So this is kind of how they start. Also, the cautionary statement, they always have to say that the presentations contain some forward-looking statements, etc., and explain what non-GAAP financial measures mean. So anyway, that's not the most interesting today. Let's see what they do. They have a leadership in foundational IP, very breadth and depth in their portfolio, scaling compute engines from cloud to edge. They have an open, proven software ecosystem, delivering flexibility, transparency, etc., and also very deep collaborative partnerships across AI, data center, embedded PCs, and gaming. So yeah, they have a lot going on, which I really like. They're really where the future are heading. Companies like AMD and NVIDIA will be important, and yeah, they have some large growth opportunities, both data center. They have a leadership, performance, and TCO across cloud, enterprise, and AI workloads, and obviously data centers are the demand are just growing. And don't forget that more and more countries are building out the data centers, and not just the big companies. So it's a really good, solid foundation to grow your business if you have great products, which AMD has. In client and gaming, they have high performance, energy efficient, and AI enabled premium PC and gaming experience with their AMD Ryzen, the best CPUs in the market, but they also have the GPUs. For example, the newly released AMD Radeon GPU. I made some videos about it on the channel here. A really successful launch from AMD. So they are getting better in the gaming segment. Especially, they are especially good in like the portable computer scene, but they are getting better in terms of the high performing um, gaming segment where Nvidia is the leader at the moment. So let's just continue to follow what's going on here and how it's going. But I can say that the launch of AMD Radeon 5070 XT, I think it was the name, was very successful. So let's hope they can continue to gain some share from Nvidia long term here in gaming. And in embedded, they are the industry's broadest portfolio of adaptive and embedded computing platforms. So they are, you can understand what type of business they are doing. They also completed the acquisition of CT Systems, so this will make it easier for them to go to market and customize their AI portfolio and data center business to the customer, to each customer, because customers has different demands, and so you need to have a full rack scale AI solution system and level capabilities, which are key factors in scaling, especially the AMD AI Instinct business. So this acquisition is very vital for AMD, and long term will make them a fierce opponent to NVIDIA in the customized AI space. Um, so they will just join together with AMD, the data center solution businesses unit, and yeah, that's what I can say about CT Systems at the moment. When in terms of revenue, you can see between Q1 of 2024 and Q1 of 2025, they have gone from $5.5 billion to $7.4 billion. And in this time perspective, the share price has not really been get higher. So think about that. Maybe that's tell you something about the valuation of the AMD stock at the moment. Obviously, a lot of money has gone into Nvidia, so the market has kind of forgotten about AMD, but they have really performed here, and $1.9 billion in a quarter per quarter is a very large sum of money. So very impressive. It's a 36% year-over-year increase, and I think Wall Street thought was around 6.8 to 7.1 billion dollars. So bringing the 7.4 billion dollars here is very good. Impressive numbers from AMD. They have a growth both in data center and client and gaming segments. So that's on the earnings call. This, as you said, that the start of the year, which you see usually has some seasonality to it, was better than expected. And as a shareholder, we say, good job, good job. We see year over year, the gross margin is getting better, both GAAP and non-GAAP. And don't forget, they have bought back a lot of shares. They have invested in their infrastructure, in the AI capabilities, the long-term growth. So having the gross margins at the levels they show here is very impressive. Operating income, a lot better 2025 than 2024. They also said on the earnings call that the operating income, the earnings per share, the net income, that type of improvements will be higher in terms of percentage than the revenue improvements. When we continue forward, it will be easier for them to boost like the earnings, and then it will be for them to boost the revenue, because they have a really, if you earn about $30 billion, it's hard to just double that and double that. So but they can improve the efficiency. So yeah, and also through that higher number of total revenue, if they just get a little bit of it in net income, the net income will increase a lot. So here you can see the diluted earnings per share getting a lot better between the years. It's up about from $0.07 per share to 0.44. And I would say that it could have been even higher, but AMD chose to have it in this the earnings about this level because they're doing a lot of investments, etc. So they don't want to boost the earnings too much at this time, because this is AMD is a long-term player. They want to be in the market long term and allocate the money in a strategic way. Obviously, they have a lot of cash, but they have not endless of cash. So if you earn too much, you have to tax it away. Sometimes it's better to reinvest the money in different areas of the company. Here you can see a summary of the numbers we just went through, and quite impressive here year over year. You can see the percentage going up. So yeah, very good. If we're going down, we have some segment results here. The data center year over year is up in net revenues, 57%, in operating income 72%. So data center going really good. Client and gaming also up a lot. The embedded business is a bit lower. And here we can see a really strong balance sheet. The cash is a lot higher than it was a year ago. So the company has a very, very strong foundation here to continue the growth and continue investments. So that's very important as an investor in AMD. Some strategic highlights here from the data center segment. Partnership with Oracle to deploy a large-scale cluster powered by MI355X accelerators and 5th gen EPYC processors. So they talked a lot about the MI355, etc., going forward, and about their partnership with Oracle. And Oracle is, as you know, I think the founder is Larry Allison something. I might have said his name wrong here, but a really big company, and having them as like a partnership with them in the way that AMD has as like the main partner here really shows that they can provide products to any company. If they can do what Oracle needs, they can do what any other big tech company needs. So a lot of money to AMD, a lot of great products to Oracle. So very good. They said that the ROCm 6.4 is ready to deploy inferencing and training containers on bi-weekly basis. They are getting better. AMD has having the software stack, which in a way makes them a more fierce competitor to to NVIDIA. So this is what we want. We want them to go head to head with NVIDIA, but even if they don't not win the race, if they are the clear second player, they will also earn a lot of money, and the stock price long term will grow a lot. So they say Core 42 announces broadly deploying AMD Instinct's GPU technology. So a lot of companies are deploying the tech that AMD provides. Also, Geo Platform, Cisco, Nokia, they are from the Open Telecom AI platform, and they are using AMD here. And also Siemens are using the EPYC CPUs and Radeon Pro GPUs. And they talked a lot on the earnings call about the next gen MI350 Instinct GPUs here, and a lot of demand. So that is why you have to listen to the earnings call. You should not just read presentations like this. If you listen to the CEO, Lisa Su, talking about the specific demand for this launch. This specific chip here is what has made a filthy amount of money for NVIDIA. So if this is a successful launch and the demand is as high as I think it is, as a shareholder, we will be we'll become rich. So let's hope that they perform on this launch, and if they do a successful launch on the MI350 series, the next launch on like the MI375 or the MI400 series will be even better. They will have customers, relationships that are building on. So having the reinsurance from the CEO here that they have a lot of demand feels very good as an investor. So seeing the 57% growth here in the data center segment is wonderful. So AMD just keep doing what you do long term. Client and gaming, it's actually up 28% year over year to 2.9 billion. And it's a lot of portable computers that they have really. AMD are the main player here in like the CPUs that are in the computers. So that is what we are seeing here. Here is the GPUs I talked about, the Radeon 9070 series. Very strong demand with the new RDNA 4 architecture. So I have some videos about that on my channel if you want to dip your toes there. It's a very, very interesting launch. They have been a long way from NVIDIA for a couple of years, but now they are actually going in there with a competitive products. So that tells you a lot about where AMD is at the moment. They are actually getting a lot of steam, a lot of pace in all areas, and they are trying to do everything good. And you can tell because they are earning a lot of money. What you should think about when you invest in AMD is, the tariffs, the situation with China, the sell a bit to China. So they talked about that will affect them short term, especially in the earnings. But I don't think that will be a problem for the stock in the long term. And obviously, USA will and want to be someone who export more products. And if they want to do that, they need to get a long-term trade deal here. So hopefully it will be a short-term bump in the long-term outlook for AMD, the situation in China. Also, they introduced FSR4, so it's kind of an upscaling thing you need when you through the graphics card when you play games, and they have been criticisms against in AMD before. They are not good at this type of technology, but the latest released here really shows that they are closing in on NVIDIA. They are not as good yet, but they are getting a lot better very fast. So that's impressive. The embedded segment is what's down, but they said that it's going to be better. So yeah, some they are trying to get some customers here in, for example, IBM, Cisco, and they also launched VIT software suite with expanding support and the latest AI models. So hopefully they can bring the embedded segment with a bit more pace going forward. That is what I was hearing during the earnings call, that this is long term still a great product and product segment for AMD. So the outlook is always very interesting. Next quarter they say, oh, it's about 7.4 billion again, plus minus 300 million. And don't forget, they all quite often say a number, and the real number will be a bit higher. So that's very good. Gross margin. Here we have the inventory charge, $800 million. That is the China situation going on. So with that is 43%, but if you exclude that, it's 54%. And the gross margin kind of show how much it costs for you to actually get like revenue out of your products. So if you have a very competitive product, you can take higher prices and the gross margin will be higher. So a high gross margin is what you want in your products. So 54% is great. We want it to be even higher, but it's getting better and better. The operating expenses will be about 2.3 billion, some interest expense, etc., and 30% of pre-tax income. So that's the effective tax rate, quite low. And the outstanding shares, 1.64 billion shares. So if you want the company's market value, you can just take 1.64 billion shares and the outstanding shares, you just add the price of the stock to that. You multiplicate them, and then you have the worth of the company. So yeah. So here we have the summary. We already talked about it. Some corporate responsibility, fostering great culture. I know they are great at that. You can see here some great things. People like working at AMD. That's very important long term. So their momentum is large and scaling and compelling TAM. TAM is like total addressable market. That's how big of a market they have that they can grow into. So having that huge TAM here is kind of important, and AMD has that. meaning it feels better as an investor. They have the possibility to continue to grow if the TAM grows a lot every year, and you have a company that is among the best in that area. It can be a good sign as an investor. They have a technology leadership. In a lot of their products is the best. Some of their products are second best, but yeah, I would say they have a technology leadership in a lot of things they do. For example, the CPUs they have for portable devices, and they are getting very very good in the data center and the AI chips also. They are expanding data center and AI leadership, world class executing and focus. Nice to hear. Of course, when you read these type of presentations, all companies will say they have like some great words about the execution, etc. But it's always nice to see. They want a strong balance sheet. We like that. Low debt will make the company more flexible long term. Here they have some. If you want to know like the difference between GAAP and non-GAAP. GAAP means General Accepted Accounting Principles. So that is how you report um, the expenses and the income you have, and depending on what type of expenses you count, you will have like the results may differ a bit. In GAAP, you might count some kind of investments in a certain way, and in non-GAAP, you don't do that. So keep that in mind. I say the GAAP is the best one, obviously. So, yep, this this is the presentation. So I will stop to read it now.